hear me? Hello, hello. Alright, you guys can hear me. What is going on, guys? GZTV back with another video. And in this video, we are going to be talking about all the music that dropped this week. I am in my college room, so that's kind of cool. But we're going to talk about all 20 songs I listened to this week. So, yeah, without further ado, I think we can get into it. This isn't going to be a very long video or anything. I'm sorry if I'm a little echoey. I'm in kind of a new room. I don't have everything set up necessarily, so I'm going to be echoing a lot. They're kind of out, like, going out of town and doing stuff, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to get some videos out for you guys so I can kind of watch Dexter, enjoy the rest of my day. I'll probably hit up the gym. Yeah, we're going to try to grind. Hopefully you guys can see my transformation throughout the videos, hopefully. But getting into the music, Rod Wave. Obviously, I'm not a huge Rod Wave fan, but he dropped a new song called Call Your Friends. I didn't think it's that bad. I mean, people think he's like him or whatever. People are like praising the shit out of this guy, but like, it's not bad, but I don't see it. I don't know. It's okay. Lil Tecca and Kodak Black drop a new song called Heaven on Earth. Lil Tecca's hopefully dropping an album soon. Oh, he saved the summer. There's that whole agenda that goes around once a year when Lil Tecca drops new music. I'm not really sure why that's a thing, but it is what it is. This is a pretty good song, though. It's got that Benny X production. Benny X has been everywhere. He's been absolutely putting in work. There's even been memes of him being a damn industry slave at this point because of all the contributions he's made. But yeah, I mean, Benny X is a pretty big part of the music industry, if I have to say so. Mike Will made it. And Lil Uzi Vert worked together for a song. Moving on from that, I mean, Kodak Black had a pretty good part. I'm going to try to talk a little in depth as possible, because I was actually paying attention to a lot of this music. Usually when I come on here and talk about the new music, I'm usually kind of like listening to it as background music, but I was on a car ride, so I was kind of zoning out to it, listening to it. Kodak Black had a pretty good verse. People were like, oh, Kodak Black actually isn't that bad. And you sound like, oh, he's supposed to be trash. I don't know. I think Kodak Black probably had one of the better parts of the record. I don't know. Mike Will made it and Lil Uzi Vert, though. They come together for Blood Moon, an absolute banger. Probably one of the best songs that dropped this week. This song is amazing. I saw them in the studio with J. Cole. There was a whole thing going around about that. So cool, man. They made a great song here. I don't really have much to say about it, except the fact that Barter 16 was supposed to come out, and he put it on Destroy Lonely's life that it was going to come out. And yeah, now we got to fear for his life. And Barter 16 actually had 8 leaks, so I'll probably listen to those when I'm in the gym. I'm not going to make a review because that's fucked up. That's not an official release by an artist. And obviously Quavo would have been on here, but we did a whole review for that, so you guys can check that out separately on the channel. Coming up next, Sierra dropped a little album, and it had a Lil Baby on it, so I figured I'd check out the track. It's not that bad. People say Lil Baby fell off, but I don't think you can necessarily say that about him. It is what it is. I'm not a huge Lil Baby fan in the first place, and I'm definitely not as big of a Lil Baby fan as I was when he dropped My Turn. I will admit, that is a great album. But, yeah, Polo G dropped a single from his Hood Poet album. I think that's what it's called, Hood Poetic? No, it's Hood Poet. That album's coming out soon. I don't remember when, but he dropped Barely Holding On. Actually, not a bad track for Polo G. I'm not usually the biggest Polo G fan, but that wasn't terrible. That was actually pretty solid. So he said he was retiring after the watered down stuff, and it's kind of ironic because he is a part of that kind of era, but yeah, that track's not bad. ESTG dropped El Toro 2. That's a decent release for the week. I'm a pretty big ESTG fan. I think he's got some really good stuff. He dropped a couple tracks with Yo Gotti. He has Ryla Rodriguez on here, 42 Doug, Static Major, Lil Baby. He's got a decent amount of features, but ESTG's cadence is just so great that I don't think El Toro even needs the features. His breakthrough project was the original El Toro, so it's interesting to see what he came out with the second time around. I think El Toro 2 is pretty good. I think ESTG can hold a name in hip-hop for quite some time making music like this. So shout out to ESTG. He's gotten the deserved credit from people on Twitter I've seen. Sean C is a big fan of him. He's another movie or music reviewer, so go check him out. Of course, I don't need to give him a shout out because he's already big, but his content's awesome. So shout out to him. As we get into Joro Kenji's album, I wasn't really interested in the album except for the Mike Dimes record. I don't remember if this was a single or not. I just listened to it just because. It's got Mike Dimes on it, and I'm not super familiar with Joro Kenji's, catalog or anything, so I listened to it. It was okay. I don't really have a lot to say. Joro Kenji's cool. He's gotten like that Joe Shiesty, that's the big thing with him. He got the Joe Shiesty cosign, I guess. Young Scooter dropped a song with Future. Young Scooter and Future are pretty close to each other. Young Scooter had a great feature on Future's last deluxe album. So they came together and had a pretty solid track here. Future's part was great. There were snippets going into this song. It's pretty good. So, yeah, Real Boston Richie. I don't know. I mean, I've heard him popping every now and then. He dropped Keep On Getting It. I listened to it. I was like, okay. I mean, nothing too impressive. We're kind of getting into more of that undercard territory. But one thing I'm not going to mention as an undercard is Dame Dollar, because Damian Lillard, a.k.a. Dame Dollar, the NBA All-Star, dropped his new album, Don Dollar, and that's a pretty big moment. He brings together guys like Rick Ross, he brings in Lil Wayne, he brings in Mozzie, Toby Nwigwe, Ty Dolla $ign, some pretty good stuff. Obviously, the every once in a blue moon Dame Dollar Lil Wayne track, that's obviously an essential for his albums, always gets that feature. Yeah, not a bad album. I don't think it's anything amazing. I definitely like some of Damian Lillard's earlier music, and yes, I called him that because I'm a big NBA fan. But I don't know. It's really not that bad. As we get into, yeah, I can't remember some of his older songs, but the objects in the mirror closer than they appear, yeah. I don't know why. I like that bar from one of those songs. I have to go back and listen to his old music sometime. It's great. But Didi Osama dropped a track with Lil Tyler. Obviously, Didi Osama is a pretty big artist in the industry right now, so we got to give him a little bit of credit. Shout out to him. It's okay. Lil Tyler's flow is kind of getting a little too lax, kind of getting a little too weird and awkward, but he keeps on doing him, I guess. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about him, so what can I say? Young Fazo is pretty good artist. He dropped Starboy. That will end our video. That was a pretty good track. I might have heard it on TikTok because Young Fazo is a pretty big, I'm not going to say TikTok artist because that's a shitty label to put on someone, but he's an artist that has a lot of songs on TikTok, and I think that's one of them. So he's pretty solid. He has very unique vocal effects, but I don't have anything else to say. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. If this video is too short, I'm sorry. I was just kind of going over, kind of summarizing some music. There's a lot of pretty big albums coming out for September at least that we can look forward to.